News with Gina.
The News with Gina Grad.
Jake Paul will pop on when Jake Paul pops on, and we'll do the news up until then and then beyond. Go ahead.
Well, from the Of Course It Is desk, we have a 2020 Merriam-Webster Dictionary Name of the Year. And what?
Name of the year?
Word of the year. Sorry.
I know they're doing names.
The reason why it's so funny is actually the last two of the top 11 words are the best. So we got to get into the story somehow. It is.
I heard this news story in between watching Leave It to Beaver, which I call show prep. And I think I remember it was either Pandemic or Bahayman. I'm trying to think. Pandemic,
you're right about one of them.
Pandemic was number one.
Yes.
I remember the Kraken was in there.
Number 5.
Was in there somewhere. And I can't remember the other ones.
Well, you're going to love 10 and 11. So, all the names that kind of make sense for the year. We got coronavirus, quarantine, asymptomatic was a big one. Defund.
We got defund the police. We got a Joe Biden one, which is...
Oh, yes, that's one of my... That's number 11, the one I was so excited about.
His is like... He calls...
No, don't say it.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
there it is.
That was a total guess.
Malarkey.
But,
It was malarkey. Number 11, because people had to look it up. But number 10 is also sort of poetically perfect for 2020. The number 10 most looked up word of the year, schadenfreude.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, and I think that has to do with people getting COVID.
Oh.
I think that it makes perfect sense.
I would imagine it was around the time maybe Trump got coronavirus.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would you be happy your neighbor got coronavirus?
Right. Or anyone
Adam might be happy that
any public person who gets it, that name came up as why is everyone talking about Schadenfreude? What exactly does that mean? So at the top we have pandemic, coronavirus, and quarantine. At the bottom we have Schadenfreude and malarkey.
Has anyone famous died in a long time, and has it been attributed to COVID?
Well, it did come out today, talk about point shitting, that the 95-year-old man who played Darth Vader did die of coronavirus.
Oh, did he? God, I hope.
Does that count?
I hope both my kids die at 95 from the coronavirus.
Amen.
That is my.
If
that
you
is
had
my
to pick
wish
a way
for
to
them.
go.
Yeah.
Amen.
So,
The Dark Lord of the Sith, and he succumbed to a fucking virus.
Nick
that's a good
Cordero
point.
is all I can think of.
Nick Cordero is probably the youngest, scariest example. But is there anybody else? Is there any celebrity or dignitary or public figure in like the last 4 months or under the age of 70?
That's a good caveat.
Who has died of this? And if the answer is no, then we shouldn't be all that freaked out because we would know it. If somebody we knew of, somebody we'd heard of that was 47 died of coronavirus, they would be making a fucking huge deal about it. So if you, there's kind of two ways you can look at things. You can crunch some numbers and get into some stats and turn on the TV and be alarmed by rising cases or hospital beds being taken or things of that nature. But if I'm not hearing about people dying, then this thing is under control from the perspective of it's a killer. When you looked at something like AIDS, you got AIDS, you died. That's simply how it was. In the later 80s, early 90s, you got AIDS, you had to get your affairs in order, like immediately. When I start hearing about, the quarterbacks from the Denver Broncos got it, and the guys from the college team got it, and the other guys from the NFL got it, and the coach, Nick Saban has it, and blah, blah, blah. And okay, but what's happening? Then what? Now what? What's going on?
Like Drew said on the show, we're getting better at treating it.
Yeah, well,
not preventing it, but treating it.
We're getting pretty damn good because if Nick Saban died, we'd know all about it. And if one of the quarterbacks for Denver died, we know about it. And if the Clemson quarterback who had it 3 weeks ago was in trouble, we would know about it. So my thing is I think it is now something that you can get. I don't think it's going to kill you if you're not in this group. And so if you're not in that group, you got to get the fuck on with your life. Okay? Chris was pointing out that a week and a half ago, we all went to a Florida wedding, a maskless Florida wedding. So we should all have it, and so should everybody from that wedding. I don't. I either have had it 25 times or there's something wrong. I have literally tried everything I can do to get it. I'm like that episode of The Simpsons where he became morbidly obese. And at first he was reading ways he could get out of work, like workman's comp shit. And he was trying to get himself injured at work, and he couldn't seem to pull it off. And I feel like
it's too incompetent.
Yeah, that's I feel like that. Maybe I'm too incompetent to be stricken with the coronavirus.
That's possible.
Gina has either late breaking news.
Oh, some sort of update. Perhaps her dad's situation.
So Gina's muted herself. She's
to answer your question, the most recent famous person I can find, I'd forgot about this, was Tom Seaver. Of course, he was an advanced age, and that was, I think early September, late August, something like that.
Oh, Hall of Fame pitcher, Cy Young Award winning. Yeah, I remember Tom.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was 70 years old, though. I don't know.
Tom Seaver. Sorry, I'm looking. Oh, okay, looking at something else. Yeah, how old was Tom? Do you remember?
Chris can look that up. I just saw him on a list.
I'm sorry, Gina. Go ahead with your news.
Very good. Thank you very much. Well, I hope you can't die from a twisted ankle, because then Joe Biden needs to be real careful. They said he twisted his ankle while playing with his dogs on Saturday, but now doctors say he suffered a hairline fracture in his foot, and because it's going to look very presidential, wear an orthopedic walking boot for several weeks.
Oh, I should have like a flag on her, Star Spangled
right.
or something.
Yes.
Now, this is kind of funny. Gary and Shannon on KFI said, how many people believe he broke his foot roughhousing with his two giant German shepherds, or does he just break something trying to step out of the shower, and that's a horrible optics situation?
Oh, yeah, right. Can't have anything in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. No. Have to come up with something. I believe it just because that's what they said, but it is true if you think about it. You have to think of something that says virility, but you can't have banging a cocktail waitress or fighting corn pop in an alley.
Right.
But I think playing with the dog feels pretty vital.
Should have gone with skiing. Ooh, rescuing a skier.
Rescuing a skier. Yeah.
That's real good. So he'll, if we make it this far to, the end of January, he'll hobble up there in his walking boot and take the oath.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how long you got to keep that thing. He's probably going to be done with that by then, right?
It's over a month and a half.
They said several weeks when I had it, because remember, I fell down the stairs at Cantor's waiting for my matzo ball soup.
That's right.
I had to have my
set up to a joke.
I know, it's the most Jewish thing I've ever said. And I had my foot propped up in the studio for like 2 months. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that could butt up against the January 20th date.
Well, to be fair, a young Jewish girl not having the matzo ball soup had been almost 11 hours, I believe, since you'd had matzo ball soup.
That's right.
And so
I was
your
going
blood
through
was
withdrawals.
Getting,
Mm-hmm. I was getting the shakes.
Who's the young Jewish girl?
The shiksas.
I'm going to ask a question. It sounds
Brian,
insulting.
I'm Jewish.
I should have realized. I'm going to ask a question. It's going to sound insulting, but it's actually completely genuine. Sheena, take your headphones off. Who is the better athlete at this moment? Joe Biden or Gina Grad?
I can throw a spiral if I warm up for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
So Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was intrigued by this $106 burger that AJ brought up on the show yesterday, the new Gordan Ramsay burger. And I said, if it's gold leaf, we don't want to hear about it. Or if it comes with a diamond ring, nobody cares.
Right.
So I did a little investigating, and turns out it's probably legit. So he is opening a restaurant in London. And is opening a London location of his Las Vegas restaurant in December. And everybody's talking about all the menu items that are pricey.
Are there truffles on top?
Well, of course, truffles are involved.
Yeah, you got it.
So
that jacks up the price.
This is going to be a Wagyu burger. Now, remember, I just had an almost $100 steak, or I was in the company of someone having a $100 steak. So now I can believe that this is possible with Wagyu. It's a Wagyu sirloin, truffle pecorino cheese, and fresh black truffles.
Of course.
It's $106. Fries are sold separately. And other
fries are sold separately.
Separately.
It's like a fine dining restaurant.
Seaver died at 75 in August from complications of Lewy body dementia.
That's what Casey Kasem had.
And COVID. But I'm guessing if it was just the COVID, he'd probably still be out at Old Timers Day throwing those pitches. The thing about a burger like that is I like where they're at with it. I'm wondering when a burger ceases to be a burger. You know, at some point when you heap on too much non-burger shit onto it, it becomes something else. And I'll bet you that most people who had that, what was it, $106 burger would rather have 39 In-N-Out burgers. And
I agree.
Spread out over the course of the next 2 years.
All at once?
Yeah.
And I think you might be right about that. Other items include a $56 lobster and shrimp burger.
Yeah.
$33 burger, a Hell's Kitchen burger. It's mozzarella and jalapeno aioli. And you know what? Some people just want the basics. Keep it simple. An American cheeseburger with tomato, pickle, and onion. $28.
Where do you guys, I'll bet you would enjoy that more than the highfalutin burger. Where do you guys come down on what's on the burger? Onions. We going raw? We going grilled?
I'll take either one. $51.49 for raw. I like the crunch.
I despise raw onions. I don't think they're food. Mushrooms and onions are not food until you cook them. Grilled and well done. I want them caramelized.
I like everything on the burger. I like the lettuce. I like a big slab of tomato. I like the raw onion for the most part. And
how about the pickle? Love the pickle.
Love the
chips.
pickle.
Pickle.
Love the mayo. Love it all.
You know what? As it pertains to this burger, I'll be honest, Adam, I know you like to marvel at my highfalutin taste sometimes. Don't care for truffles. Never have. No, I prefer, I will never ask for truffles or order anything with them proactively.
Well, good news, because no one volunteers truffles. You got to ask for it. So if you're not asking, you're not getting.
Who threw the truffles against the wall at the highfalutin dinner?
Cousin Sal, when we were trying to run up the bill, the guy was coming by and he was grating the truffle over everyone's pasta or whatever they were eating. And, you know, each swipe of the grate was like $23 or something. And the truffle was the size of a baseball. And at some point, Sal said, like, well, how much for the actual truffle? Like, how much just leave
give me the
it?
truffle.
I want bottle service with that truffle. And the guy's like, I don't know, the truffle's like $1,200 or something. And then Sal grabbed it and threw it against the wall. That's
it's fungus.
Yep.
And it's $1,200.
The ugliest of all Americans, Cousin Sal.
I can't believe it does it sober because he doesn't drink.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's great.
That's insane.
And again, everyone else drinks, but the real downfall with Baby Doll is he ain't making it through a 2.5-hour dinner without going out for a smoke break a couple of times. And whenever he steps out for the smoke break, that's when the trouble that's when Sal starts sending bottles of champagne to other tables. And T-shirts. Swag.
It's going to be a great year for Baby Doll. No dinner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's saved himself thousands of dollars. All right. So Jake Paul was running late.
Yeah, he had another interview before us, and that was going long, but he let us know he's going to be on any minute.
All right. Keep going, Gina Grad.
Well, there's always a way around something, and a tequila bar owner in England is he's right on top of that. So he's attempting to register his establishment as a religion in the hopes of meeting the regulations to keep his business operational during the pandemic. And I think
Garagos has dropped to his knees.
A lot of people are going to try something like this, I bet. Fox News reports that James Aspel, who owns the 400 Rabbits bar, has admitted that his stunt is mostly aimed to raise awareness about the plight of England's bar industry, which I imagine would have have been thriving. And it's in Nottingham. It's currently designated a tier 3 area, meaning it can only remain open for takeout and delivery. We're used to that. But Aspel told Fox News he takes issue with the rules, questioning why other establishments like the big Christmas market nearby are still allowed to operate, and they're all under the same tier. On his website, he says 400 Rabbits is also trying to grow a congregation, reportedly for the purposes of obtaining credibility as a recognized religion. The website, however, appears to make it clear that his efforts are largely ironic, despite the real concerns behind him. But if it goes through, it goes through. It's like the guy who always does the crazy vanity plate, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard some story about a crazy vanity plate, and one of them, I think it said queer on it, but obviously, not obviously, but the guy wasn't talking about being gay. It was more about queer, weird, or part of his name or his business or something. But no mas. I don't know. The vanity plates. Do you guys feel like you see less and less vanity plates?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well, you know what I've noticed, and you guys may not have ever noticed this, or tell me if you do here on out. There is an inordinate amount of vanity plates on Teslas out here in California.
Interesting.
Teslas have,
yes.
A lot have to do with, EV or, no gas or something like that. You know what I mean? Or some are just vanity plates. But I'm telling you, there's a disproportionate amount on Teslas.
And less on Vegas?
Yeah.
I just picked a bad car from the 70s. Yeah, well, it's
versus your average car.
No, it's interesting. So you see pickup trucks, and pickup trucks don't have a lot of vanity plates because those are just poor Mexicans going to mow lawns and go to work. Like there's no virtue signaling going on. If you think about the group that is sort of signaling the most, then maybe the Tesla group are the signalers of our society right now. And if you're going to signal, then continue the theme with the vanity plate, especially when you're getting into zero gas or zero greenhouse or like whatever that thing is. Obviously I come from a super loser family, and I had a friend when I was growing up, and his name was Jeff Buck, and he came from a winner family. Like people say, have you ever been skiing, or when was the first time you went skiing? It was like, yes, I went with Jeff Buck's family. And there's like, have you ever been water skiing? Yes, I went with Jeff Buck's family. Like I latched on to the families that had shit going on, and I would go eat over there and go hang out and blah, blah, blah. And his family, I think the Carollas could live 7,000 years and drive 7 million miles, and there'd never be a vanity plate between us. But his family, the dad had $1.1. The mom had $2.2.
Oh, boy.
The sister had $3. But I just go in there and just stare at those plates. And everyone was represented in the family. And I was like, oh, goddamn winners. God damn it.
Christy's dad and her brother have the matching last name plates.
Well, what are they? Oh, they have the matching. Wait, her dad and the brother. Okay.
Yeah, the last name is Clough, and it's Clough 1 and Clough 2.
Oh my God.
I'm angry, but I'm jealous. Is it now that people just don't want to fucking deal with the DMV in California? Like everything is such a hassle. I mean, is it that, or what's
a sign of the times that we don't want to, if you're wealthy, you're not going to show that off these days. You're not going to be kind of in the look at me vibe.
But
Clough 1's still on the road.
It's not really a wealthy thing. Like the people had them.
It feels like it to me.
It does feel
Only
like, but I don't
do
think
that.
it's necessarily.
It's literally $80 or something like that. Like I don't think it's expensive. For the price of one hamburger in New York City, you could get but maybe with all the social media now and all the other ways we have to sort of spread our word out there, that itch is scratched.
Oh,
that's a good point.
We don't there used to be the way you'd have to let the world know what you were thinking back in the day. Like, hey, I need strangers to know what I'm thinking. Well,
what I'm all about.
Bumper sticker, license plate frame, like vanity plate. Like, how else would I share with the world what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
And that's really kind of what social media is I need the world to know what I'm thinking. And now that, you put on the vanity plate, you reach whoever's behind you at the stoplight. But if you do the tweets, then I'm going to reach hundreds or thousands of people. So maybe it's not effective anymore. Maybe the part of the brain that wants to shout out to people is been satiated by all the social media.
That's a very good point.
It does feel like from older generation, yeah.
Also, the DMV is such a fucking shit show. I told you when I went there about a year ago to renew my license. I don't really travel anywhere with cash or checkbook anywhere. When's the last time you left the house with your checkbook?
Unless I knew I had to, there's no reason to.
Rolled into that DMV and I pulled out my credit card and they're like, "Well, we don't do credit cards." I know
We're
you guys
not
have
there
heard
yet.
this, but the thing that made me laugh is they said they had a pilot program to start looking into accepting credit cards. I feel like the guy out front of the fucking Staples Center selling the hot dog wrapped in
With the
bacon.
square.
Well, has a fucking square on his phone that'll take the
Yeah.
fucking credit card. Jesus, goddamn Christ.
Hey, before we wrap this up, what's Jeff Buck up to these days? I got to know, is he still leading the life of a winner?
I don't know. Look up Jeff Buck. I think he was part owner in a AAA hockey team or something.
That's fucking sweet.
I think that was my last correspondence with him, but you can look up that name. I think his dad. Oh, his dad played for the last championship team basketball team that Cal Berkeley had.
Oh, wow.
That's a winner.
That's cool.
Looked like Patrick Duffy. My dad looked like Angel from Rockford Files.
Everything's coming up Buck.
I know. And I think that was his last correspondence. But I don't know if you can look up Jeff Buck and see if he's up. The internet is simultaneously incredible and disappointing.
Well, it's going to be hard with
Indeed.
a common name like Jeff Buck.
I don't know.
Well, that's serious. That's kind of a common name.
Well, Jeff is. I don't know that many. There's Joe Buck, I guess. It's same initials.
Yeah, a lot of Jeff Buckley that keeps popping
But
up.
not a lot of, I see.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I get it. All right. I should tell you that COVID has postponed my Burbank Pickwick show,
hell.
and they moved it back to January 23rd. So
Your outdoor show.
my outdoor show.
Parking lot show.
So we
Right.
got that to look forward to.
I think it's because you said something.
Yeah, you've spoken into existence.
Jake Paul has not joined us yet, but John Densmore, The Doors, is waiting to come on at about 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, about 10, 15. I pushed him back just a touch, just for Jake.
All right. Well, I'm not. Well, anyway, Gina, keep
Sure.
going, but doesn't.
I got a million.
All right, go ahead.
So a 60, and I thought maybe this is on Adam's list, like getting kicked out of a casino for counting cards, but I sure hope it's not. A 62-year-old man was discovered desperately clinging to the hull of his capsized boat in the waters off Florida on Sunday, about 24 hours after he was reported lost at sea. And we have pictures. The crew on board the container ship called Angelus, there he is. It looks like a still from a movie.
It's like Harrison Ford.
That's right. Spotted it kind of and with a little Joaquin Phoenix in there. Spotted this guy, Stuart B., around 11 a.m., about 86 miles off of Cape Canaveral, holding on to his 32-foot capsized vessel. Fox News reports that the Coast Guard had been searching for signs of the boater since he was reported missing
Oh,
Saturday.
shit. It's like underwater, save for the hull.
The
Yeah,
keel.
it's like
no,
how the
everything,
Titanic
everything's
went
under
down.
but the keel.
Oh, wow.
That's right. Condition isn't immediately known, but
Can I
sometimes
say
this is
this?
a hardy dude.
If I made boats, and I'd probably be shouted down by this at the boat factory, but I'd be like, I've seen enough movies. We got to put some handles on the bottom of this boat.
Oh,
And everyone go, but aren't you just asking for it to capsize? And I'd go, I don't know, but every single movie I've seen where there's a sailboat and it hits rough seas, at some point it capsizes and the people are clinging to the super smooth fiberglass hull of the boat. And you know how much energy it takes to take your fully dressed, bearded, wet ass and crawl up the side of a super slick. I mean, that thing's like climbing a greased flagpole. Put a couple of handholds in there.
Yeah.
All right.
A couple of pegs to stand on.
Yeah, we may lose a couple of knots, but it ain't the fucking America's Cup. Put a couple of those, go online. And, those hand grabs for the fake rock climbing walls? Toss a couple on the hull.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're fiberglass. They don't weigh much.
Yeah, it'll be like those airplanes when they advertise the private airplane that has the parachute on it.
Right.
I do the same thing with this. Hey, hand grabs. Hey, a lot of you call yourself sailors, but are you really? Number one. Number two, a lot of you like to drink. A lot of you, not so happy with the radio and the last communications and all that kind of stuff. When this bad boy flips on you, you'll be able to hang out on topside.
It'd be the best day of your life.
Maybe we'll put a cooler on there as well.
Yeah, it couldn't hurt.
Put a little jerky in there
cooler.
and some suds.
It activates when it flips over.
We should put a radio on there. Let's put some sleeping quarters on the bottom of the boat. Yeah, let's. I don't say we need a wet bar, but obviously you're going to be parched.
Right.
All right, sorry, Gina.
You guys
what else
ever see that Robert Redford movie, All Is Lost?
Yes.
No.
Oh, love that. It was one of the few movies that made me weep openly.
Yeah, he was just alone out at sea, and
he's the only one in the movie.
Over.
He's the only one credited.
Right, and if he would have had handles on that hull, the movie would have been 11 minutes long.
Easy life would be.
So, there's always somebody some tourism board saying, hey, now's the perfect time to come here since our economy is crashing because there's no tourists. Well, now it's Hawaii's turn. And they even have a slogan and everything. So now that people are doing the work from home thing, they're saying, why not work from Hawaii? They are reeling from having essentially no tourists right now. So they don't want tourists. They want people who will stick around and do the work from home thing, but in Hawaii. So they started the Movers and Shakas campaign, and the shaka, that hang loose gesture. It launches Sunday as a campaign to attract former residents and those from elsewhere to set up their remote office. They're touting Hawaii's safety attributes, which are among the lowest rates per capita of COVID in the country. And the first 50 applicants approved starting Sunday receive a free round-trip ticket to Honolulu. Applicants pledge to respect Hawaii's culture and natural resources, and you must commit to several hours a week helping a local nonprofit.
Well, let me say this. This pandemic should be a wake-up call to all the nations and all the states and all the islands who rely solely on tourism. Relying on tourism as a nation or as an island or whatever it is, it's kind of like being a hot blonde in high school. Like you're just kind of getting by because everyone wants to fuck you. You know what I mean? When you're in, when you're in one of the Dakotas or Idaho, you got to fucking put out. Like you better be manufacturing mini refrigerators like there's no tomorrow. You need some fucking industry.
Show some appreciation.
And this Hawaii's hanging back because they're like our crystal blue waters and natural waterfalls, and like we don't have to do shit. Everyone wants to hang out here. Everyone wants to fuck the hot blonde. But maybe whoever you are, whatever country and whatever state. Maybe this is your wake-up call to fucking get up before noon and start manufacturing something, because this shit's going to happen periodically, and you're just hanging back, relying on this. You don't hear this problem with places that aren't relying on the tourism.
Let California be a lesson to the rest of the world. We were that hot blonde. Now between droughts and shootings and traffic and COVID numbers, nobody's coming here. Disneyland's closed.
Right.
Why?
That's right. All right, Gina, let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.